All righty, it's 5 p.m. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll begin with a quick roll call. Mr. Barton?
Here.
Mr. Freshair?
Here.
Dr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Chapman?
Here.
Dr. Minnie?
Here.
Everybody is here. If we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. We have no delegation at this time. We have nothing under reports, so that'll move us to the consent agenda, and we'll start with bills for payment. Ginger, you have the floor.
Okay, I did find one error after we got everything sent to you, sometime over the weekend, I noticed it. On the batch, there was a really tiny batch that had 2 invoices in it for the high school. There was copy paper and a drug test. Then we sent you that last minute batch, which was also from the high school. Apparently, they had entered it within that same batch, so there appears to be a duplicate of those 2 invoices that were on the original, but there is no duplication. That one batch now contains all of their invoices. And I think that was just the confusion of, no one had been to school, and then we asked her to run in and enter everything as quickly as possible. So that's the only thing I see there that's really stands out.
Make a motion to approve the bills for payment.
I'll ask you later. Second.
All righty, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the bills for payment as presented. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. That'll move us down to budget supplements and transfers, and there's a bunch of those.
There were a bunch. Okay, so just as a refresher, and I'm not sure when the last time I said this, budget supplements are exactly what they mean. We are adding money, adding funding to our budget that you guys have already approved. In fact, it was approved in the last fiscal year. Budget transfer, but negative budget supplements are taking away, and there's reasons for those. Budget transfers are money we had in there, and we just have to move around, like, to match how we're going to spend it, or in a few cases, how it's already been expended, with a few of those that I did. Like the indirect cost rate changes from one fiscal year to the next. So if we have money remaining in the grants, which you guys have already approved all of that when I brought you the supplements, they're called carryover supplements, when I brought those back in October, no, they were later. I guess those were in November. When we bring those and you have those totals, the indirect cost rate has changed since then. So I have to go back through and recalculate it for all those grants and funding that was left over. And that's, some of the stuff that you see in here. So just making budget changes. Sometimes we've got a new grant, like that's the case with some of those vocational grants. They came in there like while I was gone, and so they catch up on some of that stuff as well.
Make a motion to approve the budget supplements and transfers.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve all the budget supplements and transfers as presented. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, that'll move us to the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 13th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 13th, 2025 as presented. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, that'll move us into new business. And we'll start with policy 7522, concussion management policy. Dr. Manning.
This policy's been out for review for the 30-day period. There were no comments received. And of course, just an update, this is return to play and also has a return to learn piece in it. So we can get students what they need as far as returning to learn as well. So we did not receive any comments, and I recommend making a motion to approve policy 7522, concussion management policy as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve policy 7522, the concussion management policy. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion?
Hillary, you sure you don't want to read that out loud for us?
I can if you'd like.
No, I'm good.
Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, school calendar adjustment, Dr. Minnie.
So with our snow days, we have one additional day left, NTID day left, before we need to adjust the calendar. Not knowing when that may come, it may be close to the time period between meetings and things when I need the calendar adjusted. So I put this on to recommend making a motion to give the superintendent the authority to adjust the school calendar with the available OS days in this that's we have built in already, should the need arise due to inclement weather or emergency school closures.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to give the superintendent authority to adjust the school calendar with the available OS days should the need arise due to inclement weather or any other emergency response. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that made motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. Next, we'll move on to Gilmer County Schools ITB Agreement 2526. Dr. Manning?
This is a program, and I'm gonna let Mrs. Mason speak about the particulars to it, but it's a behavior management program, an online program that provides professional development and also houses different access for our employees to be able to better provide them resources to create behavior management plans. Correct, Ms. Mason?
And we've voted on this once before. This is just the renewal, no?
No, this is a brand new system which will allow us to house all behavior management plans, and then I would control who would have access to them so that they have access all the time. They don't have to go to a file. And then it's also a document that would allow us to see who has looked at it and monitor who has or hasn't. And then the program also allows us to adjust it based off the need of the student. So if the child is doing a certain behavior, it'll provide evidence-based practices for that child so that the teacher can implement, whatever strategy they suggest for the behavior. We've got a menu to pick from, and then we would put that in the behavior plan. And then there's a detailed plan of that evidence-based practice that the teacher can have to know how to implement that plan or that strategy correctly. But it's a behavior platform. It's a one-stop shop, so you don't have to go looking for behavior plans. Anyone in the county can access as long as I would grant, viewing rights for that behavior plan. Then it monitors when we've updated it, what strategies we've used, what strategies we haven't. Then it generates charts as to if the strategies worked or hasn't worked.
That way you won't have to go to a paper file to see who's done what, right? Everybody involved can just access it from their computer in one
You don't
place.
have to go down to the file room to
Right.
access the behavior.
And like a teacher would not have to come over wherever it's kept and access it.
Yes.
So basically, it's writing the behavioral plan once you punch in all the data.
Yes, it makes recommendations based off the observations. And then we select what is appropriate for that classroom or that teacher. The teacher would give input and say, I want to do check-in, check-out, or no, I don't feel that would be appropriate. Let's go to the next strategy.
I think it would be helpful legally as well, just because we can show everything that we have.
And we do get into situations where
Yes.
even though everyone's in the meeting, they'll say, well, I didn't get a plan, or I didn't.
Yeah.
And there's no documentation. I mean, we print it off for everybody.
It'll help accountability because you can track.
We can track who has access and how many times they've actually looked at it. Yes.
Okay.
So does the parent get a copy of this too?
The parent, any behavior plan we do, we have to sign off on it, and then the parent has to sign off
Right.
saying that we've gone over. Regardless of whether it's in the IEP, if it's in the IEP, we still do a separate one. We put that service in the IEP, but then that parent still has to sign that behavior plan saying that they've seen it and are okay with it. But then we've got SATs who also have behavior plans, regardless, if they have a behavior plan, the parent has to sign off, as it stands right now anyways.
Will it track like the day-to-day behavior or just the?
The day-to-day is Weavis. Now, what it would track is, like, when we implement check-in, check-out,
Yeah.
then we would say, okay, there's no behavior, or there is behavior, this is working, or this isn't working. If it's not working, then it provides other options or strategies to use for that kid.
I was just thinking of if a kid has a really bad class going in, like if there was a way to warn the next teacher, we had an occasion today.
No, it doesn't do that. You have to
Yeah.
input the data from the
Yeah.
strategy.
From the strategy, okay, I
And then
understand.
you have to generate the report. I mean, you're gonna have so many data points
Yeah.
before you can get a holistic view of whether the strategy's working or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't do like a one-time
So like
snapshot.
if you have like an autistic kid, generically speaking, then this would help generate the behavior management plan for them, right?
Yes, like it would go through a screening. Now, we have our own stuff we can put in too. It just gives us ideas on what to do. But we would do the screening or an FBA, and we would put all that data in, and we would determine what kind of interventions we want to do.
Right?
Then it would generate a list or a menu of the types of evidence-based strategies that would work or has worked for a particular behavior. We would choose, we want to do this, and this. We would add that to the plan, and then that would generate a plan for that kid.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the agreement with Britain Education LLC, which will
Second.
begin February 1st, 2025.
Second?
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the agreement with Britain Education LLC, which is the initials is ITB, which will begin on February 1st, 2025. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that made motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Mason. All right, that'll move us out of new business. We have no old business, so we'll go to personnel and begin with professional. Dr. Manning.
Recommendations for hire professional. All of these are substitute teachers. Recommend Craig Arthur, substitute teacher, Julia Bettis, substitute teacher, Kara Miner, substitute teacher, and Ann McGowan, substitute teacher.
Make a motion to approve the professional section of the personnel agenda.
Second?
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the professional section of the personnel agenda. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. On to service.
Service recommendation here to accept the retirement, Daryl Ramsey, bus operator, effective June 30th, 2025. And then a recommendation to hire Daryl Ramsey, substitute bus operator, effective 7/1 of 2025.
Make a motion to approve the service portion of the personnel agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the service portion of the personnel agenda. Any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, on to extracurricular.
These are two recommendations for hire: Cody Dobbins, auxiliary varsity baseball coach, Nathan Randolph, auxiliary varsity baseball coach, and then the acceptance of Leanne Hals's resignation, auxiliary varsity cheer coach.
Make a motion to approve the extracurricular portion of the personnel agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the extracurricular portion of the personnel agenda. Any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, that'll complete the personnel agenda. All right, we'll move on to continuous improvement, and we have an attendance update. Dr. Manning.
And we had a few folks out, so I'm going to do this update with you all myself. And the first one you're going to get here is the Gilmer County High School attendance data. You'll take one of those and pass it down. I'll just do one of these at a time while we're going down through here. Right now, currently, we have 93.55% year-to-date attendance rate. We really like to get that to the 95% range. We're getting pretty close. We have a chronically absent rate there of 17.87. Those are students that are missing more than 10% of the school year at any given point in time. And it cut off my graph, but the ninth grade is the cohort that we need to do the most work with. They had 72 instances of absences and are the area of concern for the high school. You can see up on the top the daily unexcused absences in the last 30 days. And you can see the highest ranking of those days. And it's got some behavior data on it there. But overall, this is a considerable drop, 17.87. We ended the year countywide at 26. And we were clear up in the upper 20s last year at this point in time. So we've seen about a 10% reduction. We'd like to get it under that 15% range and get into the yellow at the high school level. So a couple of those NTID days probably aren't on here. We hope that will make a difference in that. But again, we're pleased with the progress that we've made, and hopefully we can continue to make some more towards the end of the year. The next is the elementaries, and I'll send that paperwork around. Their attendance rate is in the green, 95.13. You see 11.73 when this report was ran. Mr. Price reported to me today that it was around the 10% range. And you can look down, that's 150 incidents of chronic absenteeism. This was at 24% at the same time last year, chronically absent. So that's been about a 14% improvement. Again, you can see the top class there is second grade with 52 instances, but fourth grade is right below that. Those are our two areas of concern. We put a lot of time and effort into the kindergarten class and the first grade class training, and it's helped. Of course, pre-K is pretty high too. So the goal was to be under 10%. That's how you get into the green. And we're getting pretty close. That's a really significant improvement. And hopefully we'll be able to see those improvements pan out into test score data and things like that. So we were very happy with the comparison between this time last year and this time this year. There is always a spring slump. So I don't know if those will stay the same, but those numbers look really good. I talked to Judy Stoniker today, and she thought that a good bit of the reason behind this was the work that we did with educational leave. And there's not been educational leave. People just haven't requested it. So they've been actually coming instead of taking the trips and things, which has made a reduction. So that's all. That's the first time that, you're looking at green here on this chart. And yellow. It's been in the red for the last 3 years, and it's like that around the state. I feel like we're making some progress with attendance. We have a monthly attendance team meeting. The CISs, in coordination with the attendance director, is calling out, giving those notices, those truancy notices and those types of things. We've also scheduled, kind of predicted the days we think people are missing and doing activities to get the kids to come to school on those days. And all of those steps, all of those different things that we're doing and making a difference. If we can get down below 10%, which we're getting closer to, then we'll be on the green. And there are, when I say few, I mean very few counties. I don't know that there might be only one county in the green. When I say few, there's very few. Most counties are in the red with attendance. And So we've made really good progress with that. The next paper that's coming around is our overall county results. And you can see chronic absent rate right there is today, today when this report was ran is 15.26. It needs to be under 15 to get into the yellow. So we're right on the cusp of getting it down below that, and then it has to be under 10% chronically absent to be in the green, which is considered, the highest rating that we could be with attendance. So we are getting very close to. We've already reached our goal, our attendance goal last year, and it looks like I think we set it at another 5% reduction, and hopefully this sticks because we've reduced already 10% this year. So we're hoping that all has a really positive impact when it comes to test score time, because that means that those kids have spent more time in the seats.
Yep.
Is there any questions?
Any questions?
Like I said, we're having monthly attendance meetings and we're breaking down. Sometimes those classes will change. It'll be kindergarten one month and then the next month another class, and we've been having parent meetings and different things with individual groups.
I think just looking at the overall picture, the strategies that we've put in place for the last 2 years
They're working.
are working.
There's no doubt about that. I reported the first year we were 33% chronically absent, and that report says 15. So that's a lot of progress in a couple years. So we're proud of that work. We've got multiple teams here at the district, and each school has developed their own team. And that team at the school is meeting monthly, and they're reporting out the leadership team, and they're trying to get, if they need to have more meetings or if they need to have a parent meeting, they can create those processes to happen at school level.
Nice.
So, and that's where honestly, we can have as many plans as we want out here, but that's where it happens at. So it seems like that those things that we're doing is working, and boy, we'd like to solve that last 5% and get in the green on those.
Well, it's a tall order, but I
It
think
is.
we've done really well on it.
All righty. That'll move us into the superintendent's update.
All right. Down right here. So I had a training held by the state superintendent in West Virginia Department of Education last week for all the superintendents. We got updates on all these topics, from federal funding to state funding, state formula. One of the things that I wanted to alert everybody to, and we're working on a process for this, is being able to meet the requirements of House Bill 3035, specifically the retention needs. So in 2026, when this comes into effect, any student that does not meet standard in the third grade will be retained. And that is a big number. So we're working diligently on making sure we have as few kids here in Gilmer County impacted. We just looked at data today with the kids that would affect, which are the current first graders and second graders. We are going to have as many of those kids on level as we possibly can moving into that third grade, so they're not being retained. But that is one thing that is going to happen. You're going to see retentions in the third grade. Any student that does not meet standard on the GSA with the Third Grade Success Act has the potential to be retained. And so that could lead to a lot of retentions. They gave us the numbers. It could be up to 17% of the third graders that statewide that could be retained. So we're coming up with plans now while they're in first grade, parent meetings, SAT processes, all of these different things to make sure that our students are on level. And looking at the data today, I was pleasantly surprised with how many of those first graders that we've already moved on level. Now, keeping them there is going to be the key. We went over a lot of different topics like live grades. It's one thing I wanted to inform. Live grades will no longer be available for us to use. We're going to have to switch how we do grade books.
Just learned it.
So live grades is going to go away.
Great.
The state is not going to maintain the servers for live grades any further past this July or this June. So we're going to probably pick up an additional something, whether that be the Weavis 2.0 grade book or what that is. That's the free service that the state provides. But we will have to look at that and provide teachers training on a whole new grading platform
And parents.
and parents.
Because parents use live grades too.
So we've got that. We talked about executive orders, what's coming down the line as far as executive orders, funding, compulsory attendance, the school calendar, and what all that is happening with all of those topics. But those are some of the topics I wanted to report out to you on. It was informative. We had a law session with all of the superintendents after that for the next 2 days, where Howard came and he went over all the hot topics like Title IX and different things, and gave us guidance on how we were supposed to handle different aspects of executive orders and things like that are coming out. Just reminder, next week is our SBA training that you guys will be attending, and I plan on attending as well, but that is coming up. It's in Charleston, and you guys I just wanted to give you a friendly reminder that's on the way. We have not completed the iReady math section, but we should have that wrapped up in the next few days, so you should be able to get some reporting on what those scores and things look like. The initial data is looking pretty good.
Well, I hope, because those poor kids have been out of school so long. I don't know if it'll be accurate after they've.
I know it's a long time out of school.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing the grumblings at home myself that the
Yeah.
test is here and they've got to take it, and my kids were worried about taking it last night. But overall, I think that we're seeing the growth that we would like to see on the test as far as the elementary and middle. And I think with the interventionists that this 9 weeks, we're going to see some more of that same type of growth, or probably even more, which is very good. And we are just getting started. The mastery prep is not everybody's complete, so we should be able to report out on both of those testing platforms and so on and so forth at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
All righty.
That's all I've got.
Okay, that'll move us on to board member comments. We'll start with Mr. Chapman.
Well, thank Mr. Ramsey for all of his years of service. He's been driving the bus for as long as I can remember. And I'm sure that he will be a very good substitute bus driver for us as well. And I am glad that we're back in school. They sent those snow packets, and I feel like we were doing a snow packet for April or something in case there was a late snowstorm, because I had to teach my fourth grader how to do division in the time that we were off. So I'm glad that we do have the kids back in school.
A couple different things. Since Brett brought up snow packets, the bane of my existence. I don't know how the elementary did them, but the high school did not print them off this year. And I did not like that. Now, I'm just one opinion, but I would like to see if the percentage of kids that turned in snow packets was lower compared to when they printed them off. Because it absolutely took me an hour to print off all the snow packets, figure out which one was which teachers, because not all of them were labeled with the teacher name and the subject. And it took me an hour to get everything together. So I thought it was very labor intensive to not have it printed out for the kids.
At the grade school, if you didn't have access or you weren't able to, you came in the first day and they printed them off and sent the
Well,
cards.
they printed that day off
Yeah.
for us if you wanted them, but it would have been so much easier, because in the past, we've just been sent home a manila envelope with the snow packets in it.
Yeah.
And it was day 1, day 2, day 3. And that was so much easier. And probably my girls would have done it themselves and I never would have had to. But, I was trying to figure out what teachers Colton had. And some teachers have 2 subjects. And did I get this day right? And, so it was labor intensive for me. The other things I was trying to find earlier, I had made a note here. I wanted to, the West Virginia Small Farm Conference from the WVU Extension Service is back in Charleston on February 26th to March 1st. Anyone that's interested in that can contact the Extension office. And I wanted to give a shout out to Jamie Mullins, who is our WVU extension agent and won the Faculty Teaching Excellence Award through the WVU Extension Office. So congratulations, Jamie. I think that's all I have.
Already, Mr. Fresher.
Nothing for me.
Mr. Barton.
Nothing for me today.
I just want to again congratulate Daryl on his retirement.
Yep.
And like Brett said, we're back in school, so just keep moving forward and making progress and see what we can achieve. Any other comments?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and second. We adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.